FBI Director Cash Patel says there was no legal basis for the Mar-a-Lago raid in 2022. On Wednesday, Patel said there was no crime or cause to invade President Trump's residence. The director maintained all those responsible will be held accountable, adding the agency must restore credibility in the nation. He called the raid a made-up distraction from the Biden administration. Patel also called on any officials involved to come forward. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard makes massive cuts to her agency. On Wednesday, Gabbard announced her ODNI 2.0 initiative, which aims to cut 40% of staff by the end of the fiscal year, saving taxpayers over $700 million each year. She points out the agency was created to look after America's 18 intelligence agencies after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, after massive failures were exposed. However, Gabbard laments over 20 years of bloating, playing politics, and weaponization have plagued the ODNI. She also vows to restore the office's mission to foster an intelligence community that serves the interests of the American people. The move comes after Gabbard pulled dozens of security clearances of former White House staffers. One America's John Hines has more from Washington.
So here we are with George Landreth. He is the president of Frontiers of Freedom. George, Tulsi Gabbard, the DNI, the Trump White House DNI, has announced that she is revoking the security clearances for about 37 national security experts, I guess, people who have worked in and out of various administrations over the years. What do you make of this decision to revoke these security clearances?
Well, I think it's based on a question of what do people use their security clearance for? Because if you have a security clearance and your responsibility is to try to promote America's security. And these were individuals who were playing politics, and they used their security clearance to make lies they were telling to the public credible. And so at some point, if you're using your security clearance to essentially sell lies to the American public to play politics, it seems to me you ought not have a security clearance, because part of having a security clearance is that you're trustworthy, you know, and when they do all these different things to check out your background, an example would be I've done a lot of interviews for people who were, you know, former employees or friends of mine that were, you know, had a security clearance, and they'd come to me and ask me questions about them, and they typically went to their question of, are they trustworthy? And I would say that if you're going to lie about things like you know, whether or not a laptop is Russian disinformation or so forth, and you know it's a lie, and you're telling the lie because you want to play politics, then you're not a trustworthy individual, and you shouldn't have a security clearance.
There appears to be significant overlap of this 37 names with the, I guess it was the 50 or so who signed on to that op-ed saying that the Hunter Biden laptop had all the earmarks of Russian disinformation. Not all of them are commented on it, but many of them are. Is that an example, perhaps, where you think maybe somebody was engaging in a deliberate disinformation, misleading the American public, and is that perhaps a criteria for the reason that Ms. Gabbard may have acted to revoke these security clearances?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I remember the time, just based on what I knew in the news and reading and doing my own research, I knew they were lying. There was no doubt in my mind that they were lying at the time. And now we know they're lying, and you know, because the FBI has admitted that, yeah, okay, we had it, and we, you know, so forth. So at this point, it'd be different, for example, if there was something about which reasonable people could disagree. That's not necessarily a lie. That just means you misinterpret or you interpreted things differently than someone else. But this was clearly and always was a lie. And it was a lie that was designed to be politically advantageous, and that their job titles and their security clearances would make it seem credible to the average Joe, because they're not necessarily doing lots of research. I work for an institute that has to do lots of research, and so
Frontiers of Freedom.
Right, and so as a result of that, but if I'd just been relying upon what the news coverage said, I might have believed them. But I realized, yeah, this is stupid.
Sometimes some critics of the Trump administration have said this is politically motivated, but on the other hand, isn't accountability necessary? Otherwise, it basically opens up the floodgates to future bad behavior or abuse of, in this case, national security clearances, but it could be something else, right? Is that correct?
Oh, I agree. I mean, it's kind of like the idea that Letitia James is making the same argument. Oh, he's just trying to be political. It's like, oh, really? The most political person ever who ran for office claiming, elect me to be the Attorney General, and I will go after Trump.
Yeah, this is her New York campaign.
Exactly. And so all of a sudden now she's acting like Trump's being, and it's like she's broken the law, she's done things, and so I think that you're exactly right. Accountability matters.
And this is what accountability looks like.
Yeah, and I think that if you have a security clearance and you've decided, I can use this for political purposes, then you don't need a security clearance, because your goal has to be to work for America's security interests, not to play politics.
George Landreth, president of Frontiers of Freedom, national security expert. Sir, it's a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.